All right, just some quick announcements. If you've been living under a rock, Body is launching on Tuesday. So tomorrow is a really great day if you finish 6:45. Try it out this week. Get your booty on some live workouts, see what it's like, hype it to your audience. That's an incredible tool that not enough of our team has been using. And I know what happens when we all finish test groups. We're kind of like, what do I do now? And the the tools are there for you. So reminder for you guys, if you go to the hub and you click guides at the top, there's a mix and body guide I set up with a bunch of different calendars, because I know that for many of you, if you were on the team call last week, I think, I kind of talked about like having a structure with body, not just doing like 6 cardio workouts, 6 days in a row. So there's a structure there that you can follow that'll give you a little bit of everything. There's also the free workout link that you can send to anybody who wants to try the sample workout. And also as a reminder, the day passes will launch on Tuesday. So say you have somebody that's like, I don't know about a challenge pack, or I'm not sure if I want to commit to that yet. They can actually sign up for a 1-day pass and get access to everything on Beachbody On Demand and Body, which is another great tool in our toolbox that will be available on Tuesday. And that's only $7. So perfect opportunity for people to try it. You can send them our Zoom link to hop on with the team. I'm totally cool with that. Also, Super Weekend was this weekend. So if you didn't see my announcement post in the hub, there's a bunch of different announcements. Specifically for November, Peppermint Mocha will be coming. So we'll have more information coming on that. And it is still cup month. So if you're anything like me, maybe you've been all over the place and need to kind of use this week to realign. So I am actually going to personally hold myself accountable on this call and say that I'm going to host some team power hours this week, because I know I need the accountability to hit Success Club. And I personally have that as a goal for myself every single month. So if you're like, I don't know where to start, I'm going to post some times that work for me. If you have other times that work for you, let's start that as an awesome accountability tool that we can still use our workout links for our business time as well. Just saying that out there because I need the accountability sometimes too, guys, because life's been crazy. All right. I think that's all the announcements I have. Any other announcements or recognition you guys want to share? Going once, twice. Jamie, are you trying to unmute? Okay. Well, I'm going to shout out my Team Cup team because they did go, I challenged them going 3 for 3 on shakes and workouts this weekend, because sometimes you just need the basics in your life and that's okay. So I'm excited because I know I need Sarah's call tonight because I've been everywhere the last couple weekends and I need a realignment. So I'm really excited for Sarah to talk about this. I know Jess would be raving over you right now, but she got married this weekend. So that is a valid excuse.
Good enough excuse. Yeah.
Not be here. But to give you guys a background, Sarah attended a Tony Robbins event that was like super intense, very committed. I believe it was set in Australia. So she actually stayed up through the night to attend this and give you guys the information that she's sharing tonight. So she also invested money into doing this, which I think we don't talk enough about that. And so I'm excited for her to share that, because I personally have also done the same with other events that I feel have really helped me get over those like mind blocks we sometimes create for ourselves, that we think like, oh, I could never do what my coach does, or I don't know how to post on social media, or things like that, that help us stay stuck on where we are and not move forward. So I'm excited for her to share tonight. Sarah, thank you for being here. Thank you all for giving your time. Make sure you do your screenshots, show Instagram you are here, because it matters. And you're giving your time to something that is growing yourself and your future team. So tag all your peeps. And Sarah, it's all yours, girl.
Thanks. I want to share my screen if you could let me. I did some slides. So I wouldn't, because I can just ramble on. So I wanted to try to focus myself. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. All right. I want to do this one. Okay. Everybody see my screen? Thumbs up. Good. Okay. Yeah, so this is my Unleash the Power Within Tony Robbins experience call. I am both nervous and also super fired up. I spent, if any of you listened to KK's training, Carissa Kuch's training on Team Beachbody on Facebook, she's really into getting into a peak energetic state. So I'm a little out of breath because I just spent the 10 minutes like dancing around my room, getting myself ready and fired up to my song to get ready to do this. So the first thing I want to talk about, which was Team Cup, which is the first slide, is the couple of tiers that gift you the information that I just experienced and paid for, right? So I already know everyone in the hub who's on Team Cup's gonna hit that tier 1 individual reward. You're all gonna rock it. You're gonna hit that Success Club 5 and be on a Team Cup and get the 3-part UHPW, which is Unleash Her Power Within with Carissa. It's Carissa's specific program that she, as a Tony Robbins speaker, created to be women focused. I did her 10-week program, which was incredible. And then the top 10 team reward is the 2 programs that I just completed through the summer and through this fall, which was the 10-week UHPW program with Carissa, leading into the 4-day, yeah, it was 4 days, 4-day Tony Robbins Unleash the Power Within. It is 14 hours a day. They call it TRT, Tony Robbins time, where he will literally talk for 13 hours and 30 minutes with like one 30-minute break to try to take a nap and pee and eat something. It's absolutely incredible. So I've tried to take what was a 10-week, 2.5 hours a week program plus 4 14-hour days and sort of group it down into like my top takeaways to give to everybody, not just for how we can approach this for Beachbody and our business, but also for our life and how I've already changed my life the past couple of weeks because of it. All right, so the first one, which I think KK talked about in her Beachbody training, and Tony talks about a lot, is the ultimate success formula, 5 simple steps. The number one thing that we also talk to everybody as coaches, right? To our challengers is to know your outcome, right? Why are you signing up? What do you want to do? He talks about how you can have both positive and negative fixations on your outcome, right? If you're driving your car and you're staring at the telephone pole, you're going to drive into it, right? So if you're focusing on all the negatives in your life, you'll hit that too, right? You'll succeed in hitting that negative target. Where if you are focusing your outcomes on all the positives in your life, you'll succeed in hitting that positive target too. I hope you can hear my husband yelling at my children right now to go to sleep because they're wired right now for the call. All right, so that's number 1, right? Know your target. And then number 2 is know your why. But one thing I learned over the course of the weekend is not just know your first level why, but like the 5th or 6th level into why, right? So one of my things was, right, like why I joined Beachbody, why I signed up for Jess's team, right, is that I want to lose weight. Okay, but why? Okay, because I want to feel better in my clothes. Okay, but why? Because I'm tired of feeling comfortable going to events because I don't like what I'm wearing. Okay, but why? Because my grandmother missed my wedding because she was too overweight to fly, right? So I had to get, it's like bringing back the whole weekend, right? I had to get like that 5 or 6 levels deep that now when it's been a long week or all I want to do is like eat buffalo chicken for 4 meals a day because that's my favorite food in the whole world. I get that. Not just I want to lose weight, but really 5 or 6 levels into why I'm doing this, right? Because life's always going to get hard. So not just your first level of why, but like your 4th or 5th level of why, right? Really dig into that. And then the next step, which the coaches on our team, right? The top coaches push us all the time, take massive action. What can you do right now? Right now to move forward, right? Is it post on Instagram? Is it follow up with those people? Is it post a poll? Is it meal prep for tomorrow? Is it, it's 8:10 p.m., but you haven't drank your shake today and you promise to shake every day. So now you're having it for dessert with some sprinkles on top, right? What is the massive action you can take in your life right now to get you further towards those goals? And then, so we know where we're going. We know why we're going there. We're taking the steps, but then you have to pay attention to what's happening, right? Are you getting closer? Are you getting farther away? Do you feel better? Do you feel like, yeah, you're following this program, but you're miserable every day having to do it, right? We don't want anyone to feel that way. So that's when you hit number 5. You change your approach. And this was one of the things that they went through that weekend that really clicked for me and this community, right? Is that Danielle doesn't run her business like Allie does, or like Amanda, or like Jess, right? They all followed the simple core Beachbody steps, but watched what they were getting and then tweaked it, and then post something different, and then tag something different, ate something different to get closer to their goal. You know, you see them all post on the 645 stretch days that some days they have to do more. They feel like they have to do better. Feel like they need to add a little cardio in or do a rollout session, right? So it's not just knowing where you're going and why you want to go there, but that every approach isn't going to work for all of us, right? So he said, if you learned something and you did this, you didn't fail. You just figured out a way that didn't work for you, right? And you move on. So this was a huge one for me that I applied to my regular job. I applied to my personal life. I applied to, digging back in. I've had a crazy summer of just like immeasurable drama, digging back into my Beachbody business, that I really felt like if I had to pull something out of the weekend that I wanted to share, it was going to be this. Whew, okay. I only almost cried for like a second. All right. So the next one was the big thing, which is the power of beliefs, which is a 3-step process that Tony talked about changing. So what made me think of this for what we do is, so step 1 is someone believes that something in their life has to change now, right? Said your challengers are ready to sign up for you because they've hit this point. They know something in my life has to change. I want more energy. I want to feel better. I want my skin to look better. I want to feel stronger. I want to lose weight. They already know this, right? They're like, yes, I want to sign up. I'm ready. Where we come into play is 2 and 3. Okay, so 2 is I must change now. I know what needs to change, but now I need to change. And for me, that's my daily workout, drinking Shakeology every day, checking into my bod group every day and posting every day, right? Okay, so I want to get to this thing for my thing, it's losing weight. To do that, I know I personally need to change, and we provide some of those tools to do that, right? And then number 3 is the biggest one that I can think of that Jess and this community has given me over the last year, is that I can change it now, right? We know what we want to change. We know that we have to change it, but now we need to believe that we actually can change it right now. And for that, that's Zoom workouts, posting in bod groups, posting in the hub, going live, following the workout programs, following the nutrition programs. We have all of the tools to show ourselves and everybody else that not only do we want to change something, yes, we know we need to change ourselves, but that it's possible that we can do it. And Tony says a bunch of times over the program that change is never a matter of ability. It is always a matter of motivation. And that's what I really felt like I had to talk about, because that's what this whole community is, right? It's not, we all do different jobs. We all have different lives. We all live in different places. We all have different financial statuses, jobs, full-time, stay-at-home moms, all of that. It's not a matter of what we can do in ourselves. It's a matter of sticking together and having that motivation to show up every day and do it no matter what. Ooh, all right. Okay, so here's me with my board that we got to break. I have a little video of it. With my hands, it was so fun. I wish everyone in the whole world has an experience. They can literally just like and like karate chop a board in half because it is just so like overwhelming she manpower. It's awesome. But this was day 3, which Tony calls Transformation Day, that he takes us through what he calls the Dickens approach. So everyone's usually familiar with A Christmas Story by Charles Dickens, where Ebenezer Scrooge has to go through the ghosts of Christmas, past, present, and future, right? So he has us write down a bunch of limiting beliefs we believe about ourselves, right? Something we believe about ourselves that we just know deep down isn't true, but we have taught ourselves to think this for so long, right? So we go through the past portion. We write down all the ways that this has already negatively affected our life. How has believing I will always be overweight already negatively affect my life? And then we get into our peak state, right? He has us like dance around and jump up and down and start to breathe all together. And we're talking like there's 8,000 people virtually on this thing. Like it's really cool. And he has you picture, if you continue to believe this about yourself, where will your life be next year? And just go worst case scenario. If I continue to believe this lie about myself, where will I be next year? Where will I be in 5 years? Where will your life be in 10 years from now if you keep believing this lie about yourself? 15 years. And I think he got up to like 20 or 25. I was like a big bawling disaster mess at that point, right? You're literally picturing like all of these things that you believe will hold you back in your life, and how will it affect you? How will it affect you physically? How will it affect your relationships? How will it affect my children? How will it affect my marriage? And he gets you into this state of just like, oh my God, I need to change my life freaking immediately because I will never have that come true. And what that does is create what's number 1 on the screen was enough leverage, right? You have to create enough leverage to actually want to change your life. One of the cool things about the group is, I think there were about like 8,000 people participating. But what they do throughout the weekend is put you into small Zoom rooms of 4 or 5 people. And after you do through this exercise, right, like we're writing these things, we're all crying, it's a big mess, everyone's on Zoom. All of a sudden they break you out. And here you are with like, here I am with like 2 Australians. It's like 10 a.m. their time. It's like 3 a.m. for me. I'm exhausted. I just went through this experience. And this one girl talked about how this is exactly how she quit smoking. For Tony, he believes in order to get leverage, you have to realize that not changing causes you immediate pain in your life, right? Not necessarily physical, sometimes emotional, but you need enough change to know if I don't change now, my life will be painful. And for her, it was actually during a workout. She was a smoker and always knew she should, tried and failed a bunch of times, but she was working out and had insane chest pain and couldn't catch her breath. And she just had that moment of like, oh my God, what I thought was in my future is hitting me right now. And stopped smoking, and it's been 3 years since then. Just like, boom, done. So for me, one of my beliefs, I'll just, go all out there and share, was that, like I talked about earlier, like I'll always be overweight. Boom, that's what I always believed about myself. It's how my family is. Done. So I went through the whole thing of how that would affect the rest of my life. And then what he does is he has you, and I'm not kidding, stick a finger up your nose and say it in like a really silly voice. Like, the old bullshit I used to believe about myself is that I'll always be overweight. And he has us do it over and over and over again until the point where like you can't help but laugh at how absolutely ridiculous that was, right? Like that's so ridiculous. How could I ever have believed that about myself? So he goes like where you're writing all these things and you're like crying, and then you're picturing how this will affect my life for 20 years. And then I stick my finger out my nose and say all these things in a funny voice. And then he has you replace it, right, with a new empowering pattern. So I used to believe, right, the old bullshit was that I will always be fat and overweight, and I would say it with my finger on my nose. But now I say the truth is I'm in total control and have always been of my health and myself. And like, that's it. Like, that was it. When I did this conference 3 weeks ago, like, I have not thought that about myself since then. And I was even like, my mind was blown about how it worked, right? Because you hear about it and you think like, yeah, cool. That's a bunch of like frou-frou stuff. But obviously, like Danielle said, this conference was in Australia time, right? So my family would wake up in the morning and I'd still be doing it. I'm sitting there like 5 a.m. drinking coffee, trying to stay awake. And my husband came out and he was like, are you all right? Like, you look different. Are you okay? Like, you feel better. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, I feel great. Like, he could just immediately, without me even saying anything, like see that I really did like transform overnight. Like, it was insane. So now my son, my oldest, is a thumb sucker and he has a really hard time breaking that habit. So I keep telling him, like, every time you want to suck your thumb, just stick your finger up your nose and try to see if that helps you break your habit. It really hasn't yet, but you know, I'm going with it. I'm going to see if it helps. So the next screen has a tiny little video of me actually breaking my board. So hold on, there it is. So it was super fun. I have all of the specs if anyone wants to buy their own and do it. So they had us write on one side, like all the things that they thought were holding us back. And then on the other side, all the things that we wanted to be. And he goes through the whole thing of like how to breathe, how to stand, how to practice. He brought up like the smallest, skinniest, like frail looking female on his team to show that like she broke through like 3 of them at one time. Like, it was insane. It was so fun. Everybody should do it. I have an extra one downstairs that I'm saving because one of the cool things about it being virtual is they gave us like a bonus. So I did this one and then I get to a ticket to the next one in March. I'm very excited about. What was I saying? I lost my train of thought. But yeah, it was awesome. Everybody should bust through a board at some point in their life. I want my kids to do it. It was so fun. The last thing I wanted to talk about was he talked about the science of momentum. So the first one was to put yourself in a peak state for peak performance, right? So if you change your body, you change your mind. I think that's a Rachel House quote, but it's all, she takes it from Tony Robbins. She went to his conference. So like this, right, for today, I was so nervous. I like half forgot about this morning. I spent the entire afternoon scooping dirty dishwasher water out of the bottom of my dishwasher because it broke. And this is like the last thing I wanted to have to deal with, but I got ready. I was so excited to talk to you all. I put on, everybody has one song that they can put on that puts them in a great mood, right? Either it's like a pumped up badass mood song or just like a happy gratitude song. For me, it's Send Me On My Way by Rusted Root. I don't know if anyone is, but it's on my fan. I put on, I embrace all my inner flower child spirit and dance around my room, and it's awesome. That's what I did before this call. Got myself in my peak state, right? So step 2 is find your passion. And Tony really talks about, it's not like your passion, like your purpose in life, right? Some people search for that their whole lives. That's not what he talks about. He talks about like, what do you love? What do you hate? What gets you fired up? What do you want to change in the world? Little things, big things. What do you really want? What do you want? What drives you in your life, right? So what are the things that get you emotionally ready? And then when you're ready for that, when you know what you want to do, you move to step 3, which is decide, commit, and resolve. So decide is, how did they put it? Okay, decide is like, I'm going to do this. Right? Commitment is, I have decided I'm going to do this. Resolve is, there's a kid on the line, so I'm not going to say it, but like, that already happened. Like, I have decided, like, this is already happening. It's not even a thought. When you resolve to do something, it's just happening. That's it. Game over. This is who I am now. This is what I do. This is what I believe in. So you got to get that far into your goal, right? Then 4 is what I talked about earlier. massive action. What can you do right now to change your life? So after the conference, I took a sick day at work to try to I had virtual jet lag. I didn't actually fly anywhere, but I was up all night in Australia time. So I was trying to get myself back, but I couldn't sleep. We moved to this new house. We can't get a plumber here, so I don't have a washer and dryer. So I was at the laundromat after this conference with my notebook. I haven't slept in 20 hours, and I just started writing. I work for the same company as Jess. I've worked there for, it was 9.5 years now. And I just wrote down everything I wanted to do there, right? This is the position I have now, but it's not right for me. I'm ready to move on. This is what I need to do. This is what the company needs. This is what, and I just wrote for hours. And then I got home and I edited it because it's a little extra passionate, and I worked directly for the COO. So I had to be careful of what I was going to send in an email, right? So then I transferred that to this email to him. I literally called it my Tony Robbins debrief and my career moving forward was the subject line. So I'm sure on Monday morning, he was like, holy shit, what did Sarah do this weekend? But I sent it to him, and the first time ever, I had no anxiety about it, right? I just decided, I committed, this is what I wanted to do. This is where I knew where I wanted to be. I sent it to him and I let it fall out. Then he asked to meet with me. So I met with him, and he has my email in front of him, and he was like, it's about time. It's about time. Where has this been? This is exactly what you need. And that was 2.5 weeks ago. So starting tomorrow, I'm the 5th ever director in our company. I have 2 new people on my team, and I get to now literally build my career off of what I wrote in that email, off of the confidence that I received from going through this experience, right? I grew and earned it over 9 years, but I would have never, I put the chat up, never felt resolved in myself and my decisions to have done that, right? This conference has already paid for itself in my life. And I feel great about where I'm going. So that was my massive action there. And then step 5 is sort of what we talked about earlier, right? You can't grow what you can't measure. So you have to pay attention to what's happening in your life. You have to make sure you check in with yourself, whether it's work, home, finances, weight, what you're eating, how you feel, how's your skin look, how's your energy, right? You have to check in on all those goals that you're trying to make sure you're moving in the direction you want to, or you need to change your direction. And then the last thing was just a couple quotes that were said over the weekend that really hit home. The first one, which I know we have a ton of Enneagram 3s on our teams, which are just trying to constantly achieve, right? Achieve, improve, and achieve, improve. I'm a 6, but under stress, I act like a 3. So when I'm stressed out, I try to overachieve. Is the somebody right next to us already knows we are a somebody, right? So a lot of people are constantly trying to prove they're a great mom, prove they're great at their job, getting over this imposter syndrome, right? I'm awesome, I'm positive, somebody should love me, somebody should want, right? Or just stop proving that you're good enough, because the people in our lives already know we are that somebody, right? They already know who we are and that we're all awesome. You're already all here. You're already all on our team, on our call, trying to move forward in your life. We're already good enough, right? Moving forward is for us because we want to. The second one is the quality of your life equals the quality of your emotions. This one hit me pretty hard because probably about a year or so ago, we're all in the living room. My oldest son sits on the couch and goes, I'm stressed out. He's 5. He doesn't know what stressed out means. He's just heard me and his dad say that so much that now it's become his normal, right? And it shocked the both of us. Oh my, this is the example that we're setting, is to come home and be like, we're stressed out, which sometimes is true, right? But if that's how we're focusing our emotion all day, that's how the focus of our life's going to go, right? I've learned I'm a I'm a type 6, anxiety just runs through my veins. I am a worst case scenario. My husband says I have catastrophophobia, right? I just assume a catastrophe is going to happen. If there's an ambulance going in the direction of my house is on fire and I need to get home. That's just how my brain is wired. But if I start my day with gratitude, with working out, with fueling my body properly, and I'm in that state of gratitude and joy, I can't feel gracious and anxious at the same time, right? So if I fill my body with that, if I fill my life with that, I'm going to move in that direction. The third one I talked about earlier is that change is never a matter of ability. It's a matter of motivation. We all can change. It's just getting into that rhythm, getting into that science and momentum to get there. The fourth one is like a partial quote. I couldn't remember what he said. He either said an extraordinary life or an amazing life, I couldn't remember, usually requires more than you can handle. I have already gone back to this one a couple times when I feel overwhelmed. We're here, right? You're all here. They're all in the community. You're all in the group. Everyone is already trying to achieve more, just coasting through. So when we're going for that life, when we're trying to be extraordinary, when we're trying to be healthy, when we're trying to live with vitality and energy, it's usually going to require more than we think we can handle. And if we're doing that, we're probably in the right direction and we can do it. Which leads into the last one, which he said a bunch of times, is when you don't know what to do, you know what to do. So Tony says, stop shoulding all over yourselves. So I should do this, or maybe I should do that, or maybe I should post this, or I shouldn't post that. Or what if no one will like this thing? Or should I post a yes or no, or should I post a slide? Stop shoulding all over yourself and just do it and just get it done. Because deep down in your core beliefs, if you know where you want to go and you know why you want to get there, you'll make the decisions to get there eventually. And even if it's going on a path that teaches you, this didn't work for me, I should try something else, you've still learned something and you're still gonna get there faster than if you weren't trying at all. And that's my 85 hours of training condensed into 20 minutes-ish. I tried a timer on my phone earlier to practice, so I didn't talk for too long into one call. And that's it.
Sarah, this was frigging awesome. Okay, one thing I have for you, and then obviously if anyone has any questions, what challenge do you have for the team that maybe you gave yourself after this conference that could be also applied to everyone on this call for them to do like tomorrow to start moving towards where they want to be as well?
Yeah, so mine was really, after that call, was to take that massive action, right? To go through and just free write and journal everything I possibly could out of my head of where I wanted to go for work. I later on did one for my health, and then I later on did one for Beachbody for my coaching business of where I wanted to go, right? So get it all out where you want to go, and then do 2 things that get you there fastest. We can all figure out like the fun things to do, right? Like, who doesn't love making slideshows on Canva? This was so much fun to do. But it didn't help me get more followers. It didn't help me make more connections. It didn't help me. I live around the corner from Ort Farms. I don't think anybody on the call lives in New Jersey, but like there was traffic for miles of moms and their kids pumpkin picking. Like that's my niche, right? I spent all week taking my kids their pumpkin picking. So I went on right away, tagged in Ort Farms on Instagram and followed as many people as I could and tagged them in my posts of what I was doing there this weekend. And I've already have like 3 people that I'm talking to about the bike, right? So find your massive action. What are the 2 things? It doesn't have to be coaching, right? Because we all know that when we show up in our lives better, this business does better. You can see it in all of the top coaches in our group, right? What book have you wanted to read? Do you actually want to wake up 1 hour earlier every day? Do you need to follow up with the people that you said you would 3 months ago and really you haven't gotten around to it, especially with the bike sale? So what are the 2 things, massive action that you can do to get to your outcome, and how quickly can you do it? Do it tomorrow or tonight when we hang up, if you have energy, or tomorrow.
Okay, so everyone's challenge is they need to post what their 2 things that they're going to do this week in the coach group chat after this call, so we can all hold each other accountable to it. What questions you guys have for Sarah or feedback on what spoke to you? Because I think that's important for her to hear as well.
Thanks for sharing. I think that it's really awesome that you're sharing all that stuff that you went through and experienced. It's really cool. And I love the analogy of the Scrooge. I think that's such a great way to kind of put into perspective, the things that we limit ourselves with. And I think that that's a really cool idea. So thanks for sharing that.
Thanks. No problem. Yeah, no, it just feels like such a basic concept, right? Like we all watched the movie growing up or read the stories, but he got that, they go like this in the thing. He got the leverage to change his life overnight, right? He woke up a completely different person because he had that, oh my God, I'm going to end up alone and ruin all these people's lives if I don't change. And that's what he does during the weekend. They also have, I can't remember if anyone here has teenagers. Maybe one of Amanda's coaches, whose name is falling out of my head right now, has teenagers, but they have a kids program, a kids leadership program, especially for now that he's doing virtual. He knows like everyone's going to sit there with their family, right? Like I spent over $1,000. I can't remember if it was like 12-ish or not, but people then say, hey, everyone come over and let's do this together. So because the Dickens project, the Charles Dickens thing tends to be like a little painful, realizing all of your worst nightmares come true, they have a version for kids to sign in and do, where they take them through like a more toned down version of that, but to get kids involved. And he has a whole youth leadership program too, which thinking back to luckily for all of us, right? Like social media didn't exist like it does now. Back then, I can't even imagine. My husband is a middle school teacher, like those kids, those poor things have to go through with the standards that are today, how much that would have benefited us then, nevertheless kids now. So yeah, it was really cool. It was tough, right? It was really tough, but it was way worth it. I would have never done this without that call either, that's for sure.
What else you guys got? I can definitely tell just in the way you present from when you've done team calls in the past is like completely more confident. And I mean, I've shared how much Beachbody has impacted my career and changing jobs and having the confidence to stand up for what's right and that sort of thing in a male dominated profession. So I think it's a good reminder that when we push ourselves in things with the business, it really does overflow in areas you don't even realize until it kind of happens. And so Jess had told me that Sarah wrote that letter to her CEO after this. And I was like, damn, who is this girl? But like, that is the sort of like, guys, that's like the next generation of women setting the standard for what we should be doing and how we should be in control of what we want. So I just want to say props to you. And that was totally my reaction in the car in Blacksburg. I was like, excuse me, what? She's like, I got this big letter to the CEO and I got it in my inbox. And
yeah, it worked out. It was awesome. But yeah, so worth it. I hope that everybody, I know the tier 1 for sure will happen for everyone. KK is amazing. I'm part of, she has branched out an entire monthly community. It's called UHPW, which is Unleash Her Power Within the community. I think it's $49 a month. But every month she's had a speaker the first week. So it's every Tuesday. So the first week is a speaker. We've heard from Amy Purdy. I don't know if you know who that guys know who that is, but she's a Paralympic athlete. She lost both of her legs in a tragic accident and then came back and is this Paralympic. She's incredible. The next week was Erin Sky Kelly, which is all about personal finance, was the next month. Then we heard from Maria Menounos, who was like Good Morning America on there. She started her whole health podcast. So we do a month with that. The next week is a training with Carissa on what that topic, whichever it was, personal finance or health. This month, it's like a DISC assessment, like personality, which I'm really into. I'm a huge Enneagram fan. Then the third week we do Power Fives. So I get to go into a Zoom room with 5 other women from just all over the world and talk about what we learned that week. And then the fourth week is a free resource from the Tony Robbins community or the speaker. So like the personal finance month, which was August, was a $150 course from Erin Sky Kelly for free for just being part of the community. So there's a billion personal development speakers out there, right? Like everyone can find someone. Sometimes people need some tough love. Sometimes people want like a female personality, but Carissa is incredible. She's one of those people who you hear talk and you're like, we're going to be best friends. And I've had like, you DM her and she's going to message you back and talk to you and coach you through it. And it's really great. So I can't wait for everyone to get the tier 1s and hopefully a team to hit that top 10 team reward, because that program is amazing. And I think the next 10 weeks that she's going to do is in January to lead up to the March virtual experience that I'm doing, which I think coincides with the Beachbody like weekend thing Jess said, because otherwise we were going to try to do it together. But yeah, I'll send out the information to everybody too when it comes in.
Yeah, I was going to say, Sarah, maybe you can send any information on the Unleash Her Power Within to the group chat, and then put up your challenge for the 2 things. So everyone responds to that after the team call. And I think it goes back to like remembering those things she just listed can seem like a lot, right? You're like, whoa, that's like a lot of things. I'm maybe already feeling overwhelmed in my life. And I like to always bring it back and say, commit to your 2 things, right? And think about, what do I need in my life right now? So like Sarah needed a big shift and a big investment to kick her booty. And that's why she did it. And so maybe you start with that 1 month and try it because you need a fire under your butt to get back to what matters most to you. But maybe it's something else for yourself. And this is all things that all of the coaches that are successful in our team have done at different points when we wanted to get to a different level with our lives, with our business, with our relationships. So this is just another example you guys can be exposed to that maybe you need, but maybe it's something else. And so I just want to remind you guys to like continue to share the things that maybe you're doing outside of what Beachbody is doing, because it completely interacts full circle with everything we do and could totally transform you and maybe somebody else on this team because you shared it. So just want to invite you guys to continue to share these things that maybe you come across. I know one of my coaches is doing a marketing training with another like kind of coach outside of Beachbody, and she'll be sharing about that soon. So anyways, long story short, I think that it's amazing what you shared. I'm really excited for you to continue to transform on this journey, because I know that there's something within you that you want to unleash. And it's just really cool to see that happening. And she's proof that anytime you can take something that you need and transform your lives too in a way that works for you guys. And we're all here to support you. So thank you, Sarah, for sharing. Thank y'all for being here. And next week will be a team happy hour led by Morgan. So invite your challengers. I think that's a great way to just like interact, hang out, get to know one another, nothing serious. And let's blow up body this week, guys. Like it can be a really big launch. And I know there's challengers in our group right now that are like, well, I'm done 6:45. So what's next? Let's be the example and show them that you just keep continuing to show up and build that consistency. Any closing thoughts, Sarah?
Get your bikes.
Yes.
No, that's it. You can all just make that decision, take those two steps a little bit closer, and you'll see. Carissa says a 2 millimeter shift every day. That's it. Little thing, so it'll get you there.
Looking forward to seeing your 2 things in the chat, guys, and we'll see you next Sunday. Bye, guys.
Bye.